Welcome back everyone, and I do apologize if you can hear my mother vacuuming. I just didn't want to wait for her to finish because I am so excited to open this figure right here. This is what honestly I would consider one of my all-time grail figures. That just means that in the world of collecting, it's something that you really want and is either due to price or unavailability, something that you don't expect to be able to find easily and you really have to work towards to obtain. So in the figure collecting community, this could be a really expensive figure that you have to save up for. Maybe the figure itself is rare and not that available in your country, so you kind of have to search for it, and it might take you months if not years to actually obtain the figure. So you put it on your wish list as a goal to strive for. This figure right here is one of mine, and I'm so happy to finally have her. So this is the Girls Frontline 1/7 scale FNX figure. I believe her name, or the name of the actual girl, is Agent. It makes it very hard to search for her online, especially in Japanese, but that's kind of just how they name these figures. Here you can see on the side of the box what she's supposed to look like. She is stunning. One thing I've always been attracted to is maid dresses. I don't know why. It's not like a waifu thing, I think. I just always liked the way they look, both on male and females. And the fact that, first of all, she just fits everything that I really like about character designs. I love her really pretty face, the sleek hair, the buns make her look really cute. Her outfit, again, is a maid dress, but it also has elements of combat, like she's wearing the gloves. And then the coolest thing is her pose is very dynamic. It's her lifting up the dress to reveal she has guns underneath. And then the actual base she's standing on is rocks, like terrain. Overall, I found her design extremely appealing. I thought she was really cute, and I did consider pre-ordering her when she first released, and I'm going to open her while I talk, that way this whole video is not really boring and just me rambling. But the reason I didn't pre-order her is because she was quite expensive. I've only ever pre-ordered one other figure that was this expensive, with the exception of the bunny figure I recently pre-ordered. And that was the kind of chest themed Alba figure from Dramatical Murder. When I got him, he was very cool. I really did love him, but looking at him, I wasn't completely in love, and knowing that I paid, I think, almost $300 for him, I didn't have it in me to display him. So I ended up selling him to get my money back, which I did, which was very nice. Hopefully that angle's a little better. But yeah, I ended up selling Alba to get my money back, and kind of gave myself an out from buying really expensive figures that if they get upwards to $250 or more, I'm just not as willing to display them, because that's a lot of money and I don't see myself paying that much for like a plastic figurine. Basically, I would much rather spend that type of money on, say, like a BJD, because those you can at least pose, you can customize, change their outfits, change their hair. It's a much more justifiable expense to me when it's something like that versus like a scale figure that's static. Oh wow. Cool. So the inside of her box has some instructions on how to put her together. Right. And then, some instructions on her, the way she's packed, I guess? Interesting. Oh, I see. She has all of the twist ties in the box, but they're just at the bottom. So I did buy this figure used. That's why she was much cheaper than what she's going for right now. But this just seems to be instructions on tying her up when you put her back in the blister. That's why they provided the twist ties. Or she may have come like that, I'm not sure. And the previous seller just didn't bother to put her back that way. But one thing that I will show towards the end of the video, the box does come with a little insert you can pop out, and it acts as a backdrop for her to match the promo pictures on the box. So she has that background as part of her gimmick, which is really cool, because that means if you struggle to make backdrops for your figurines, but you really want to display them in a cool setting, they've already given that to you. Oh snap, oh snap, oh snap. She has like 3 portions to her. Honestly, when the box came, I was really shocked because I think it was bigger, if not around the same size as the one 4th scale bunny I just ordered, and she was huge. She was just coming apart. But let's get a look at her in the blister. Oh my gosh, she's so pretty. She is stunning. So beautiful. Okay. I think she's already assembled in her base, so I'm just gonna stand her up and hopefully not drop her while I open the rest of this. Okay, outside of her, oh, there we go. I thought the box was the insert, but she actually comes with an insert. Okay, that's cool. And then finally, here's the backdrop she comes with. It feels, oh, it's thick. It's not just like a piece of cardboard or cardstock paper. It's an actual insert. That's cool. That's really cool. It's a little banged up. I do see some scuffs on it, but rubbing them with my fingers kind of smearing them, so that makes me think it's just cosmetic and I can easily wipe that off. So here is the backdrop. I do apologize for the glare, but it looks really cool. It's very blurry, obviously, so that it's not too noticeable for photographs, but it does say not for sale at the bottom and some copyright information. And it's made out of acrylic, I think. It's very thick. Very much feels like some of those acrylic prints that I purchased not too long ago. So that's really cool. I'm very excited to hopefully be able to put that on the shelf I plan to put her in, because I'm not sure right now whether or not she is too tall. But let's move on to the figure. Oh my gosh, she's stunning. Let's take a look at her. She is beautiful. As you can see, she does have a seam here, so that was one of the issues that I remember hearing about with this figure in particular. She still has all of this stuff at the bottom. I myself am not really too concerned about it. I understand why some people wouldn't like that, because they're heavy photographers and seam lines on figurines just make him an eyesore. But she is going to be on display for me, and while I may take a picture or two every now and again, I'm not like super heavy on the photography. So I think so long as she holds steady with the seam, like it's holding together pretty well, then I don't have an issue with it. Overall, I think her sculpture is really, really well done, and her face is so pretty. She's getting washed out just a little bit, but I love the really thin strands of hair. I love her hairstyle. Her buns are really cute. In the proper lighting, I think they can get a little too light here towards the ends, but overall they did a pretty good job. She has this kind of metal brace along her neck and these things on her back. I'm assuming they probably hold her to some mechanism as part of her combat role. Super cool. So right now, as you can see, she is kind of, her skirt is kind of hovering off. So I'm going to see if I can fix that. And look at the instructions that they provided, because it does say something along the lines of that. And then obviously I have to go under her skirt to actually put her guns on. So her hands don't actually connect to her skirt, they just hover, and they have indentations in the sculpt to show where she's supposed to be holding it, which means I should be able to just pull off her torso fairly easily. That way I can put her guns on. Might as well get a closer look while I'm at it. So once again, here's her torso. I love that her gloves are glossy. It adds a little bit more pizzazz to the paint job. And yeah, overall she's very stunning, and the paint job is really well done. And the finger sculpting is really cool. Stunning, stunning face. And then yeah, it's just hollow there. Okay, moving to the skirt. I do wonder if there's a reason why it's kind of hovering off like that. Wow, this skirt is amazing. I'll get back to her legs later. I'm sure a lot of people were excited to see that. But here's her skirt. It's huge and really beautiful, honestly. I do apologize, my stupid microphone was not recording. But yeah, I love all the ruffles in the skirt. The paint job is also really stunning. There's like red hues in between the blacks and grays used to color this. There's the indentations I was talking about for where... Apologize for my chickens, oh my god. There's the indentations I was talking about for her fingers, and as you can see, this is quite dusty, so I will be dusting this down. But there's the hole for the peg of how when you place her skirt on there. I love the bow, it's so cute. But yeah, as you can see, it's really nicely sculpted. It's beautiful, honestly. And underneath is just as stunning. Yes, it's all white. And there is some paint transfer from more than likely putting her torso in and her guns. But that's not something you'll really be able to see most of the time. So yeah, overall, her skirt is really stunning. Now let's move on to her legs. And she is wearing very sexy lingerie, which is really funny. Her underwear is a pearlescent purple. And then the lace detail on her lingerie is really cool. It's very detailed, actually. Can y'all see it? It's similar to that that one prize figure I recently got for My Dress Up Darling, where they must have not manually sculpted it, but probably laid like a stamp down on the clay. Then she's got her long boots. Love her heels. Very stunning detail. And I apologize for all the jump cuts. I'm doing that because this chicken will not shut up. I'm trying to just repeat what I say every time it starts. But yeah, the terrain is really well done. I love the way this was painted. It's stunning. It really looks very realistic and rugged. Like there were definitely explosions on this terrain. I do wish her boots had some kind of that detail, so it looked like she had just been walking in it, but I can just pretend that she just got there and is about to lay waste to her enemies. So she does have some inserts in her thighs for her guns, and this is where they go. So I'm going to try my best to put these on camera. If I can't do it, or if I feel like I'm going to break it, I'll just do it off screen. But here's her guns. They're these very interesting mechanisms. Painted really well, though. They do have the worn metal texture detail and paint. So they're really cool. And I think they're both more or less the same. I think the only difference is the paint job, just because that's done by hand. But the sculpt itself looks the same. And one thing as well is you don't want to be too harsh on this, because the paint might get on her legs, and then you'd have to fix that too. And I do apologize if my camera's washing her out a bit. In person, she has a pinker skin tone than what I'm seeing in the viewfinder. So she doesn't look really ghastly pale or anything. Alright. She is strapped. This does make me think, though, like, is she a cyborg? Because that's an interesting part of the lore. I've only really looked into these figures because it's pretty ladies with guns, so a lot of them really appeal to me, but she's the main one that I've wanted. But all of them really in the series look really stunning. So I've always wondered, you know, what's the lore? And I think these are made by a Chinese company, not necessarily one from Japan. They are just distributed by the Japanese companies. There we go. Yeah, she's fine. I think she just got loose in the box, and that's why her skirt was hovering. So as you can see, even when you put her back together, she does still have a very noticeable seam line. But again, that's not really a concern of mine. She is still stunning, and her fingers pretty much align on their own when you put them back. You can kind of see what she would look like if I put the backdrop on her, but there you go. She is so cool. I love her. I'm so happy that I finally have her. I realize how terrible of an angle this is, but I'll fix it later for the thumbnail. So let's talk pricing. So this figure retailed, I believe, around 2,500 yen back when she released a couple years ago, and at the time the yen was not as low as it is now, so she would have cost me at least, I think, $200 if not $230, and that's just the price of her. Shipping obviously is not included. Just based on how much I was charged this time around, I do think she would have been at least like $50 to ship. So at the time, I just was not willing because that meant she would cost me at least $300. And as I stated earlier in this video, when a figure is that expensive, I get very unwilling to display them because of they just become a liability basically. If I break them, I'm going to feel absolutely terrible of having destroyed something that costs that much money, and now I won't even be able to get my money back for it, because I try to take care of all of my figures fairly well so that if I do get bored of them, I do want to sell them back at a price that would at least allow me to get my money back. Yes, there may have been some paint transfer on the inside, but overall, exterior wise and functionality, she is pretty much how I would assume I would get her if she was brand new, with the exception of the dust, which I will fix on my own. It's just a matter of cleaning. I got her from Solaris Japan for about $200. Shipping cost me, I believe, like $20. And then I paid $6 for shipping insurance because the $20 shipping price tag was only for surface mail, which means she was going to be put on a boat and take 2 to 3 months to get to me. So I was very worried. I've never purchased from Solaris Japan before. I know they've been around for a long time, but they just never had prices that coincided with what I wanted. And the only reason she was cheap is because she was used. Brand new, I'm pretty sure she's a bit more expensive on their website. And if you go to secondhand markets, even in Japan, which is usually how you can get them for cheaper, she's at least $300. I tried auctions for her early on. I tried just searching around my figure collection, and no price was ever sufficient enough. Once it hits $250, I was just not willing. So I'm so happy that I was able to get her for, at this point, $230, which is, you know, a little more expensive than I would have liked, but still pretty much I paid retail for her. I'm really excited to display her and can't wait to start rearranging my figure collection shelf. I'm also glad that surface mail is still reliable. In the past, I have used it for small like remnant sets from AmiAmi, but I know AmiAmi packages their boxes. Did not realize my camera stopped recording. But yeah, AmiAmi, I know, you know, from past experiences, they pack their stuff fairly well, so I wasn't worried about them. So thumbs up for me. Solaris Japan packs their stuff fairly well, that it will get to you for the most part. For me, surface mail did not take the whole 3 months, but it did take longer than 2 months, so about halfway. So do expect to wait the full 3 months if you decide to go with that route. But overall, I had no issues. She came in perfect condition. Obviously, she's used, so her box and herself had signs of being owned by someone else, but nothing like deal breaking. I love her. Can't wait to display her. As I was filming that last portion that cut off, I did accidentally drop her backdrop. So I'm really scared to go look at that right now and see what the condition of it is. I'm hoping it's still in one piece. And if not, I will just accept that as me being clumsy like always. But that's all I have. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will make sure to provide a link to her if she's available still on Solaris Japan. And thank you so much for watching again. And I will see y'all in my next video. It's in one piece. It survived.